Just remember, detective, I have a busy schedule and I am not here to entertain you. If there's anything else you need to know, ask quickly and make sure you do not waste any more of my time.
It looks like you're already wasting your own time.
I have better things to do than talk to you.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Believe what you will.
I will.
Sure.
This guy's a jerk. Get out of my face.
The second I stepped off the train into the city of Vaudeville, I could feel the weight of its melancholy in the air. Even the drizzle that clung to the city's grimy cobblestones felt a shade darker than your everyday downpour. Vaudeville was a city of high stakes and low morals where vice and virtue danced a wicked waltz. Street lamps, flickering like burnt-out stars, were the only guide through the maze of rain-soaked alleyways and whispering shadows. My name's Martini, detective, troubleshooter, and a lousy sucker for hard luck stories.
Martini.
This wasn't my first circus, but this act was a 3-ring special. 3 murders, no leads, and a city on the brink of bedlam. The victims were as different as chalk and cheese, each a symbol of the city's vibrant veneer. A young dancer who moved like poetry in motion, her life cut short mid-pirouette. The socialite, a woman who knew the city's pulse better than anyone else. And then there was the businessman, the embodiment of vaudeville's promises of progress, snuffed out like a candle in the wind. The usual peace in vaudeville was off-kilter, replaced by the discordant notes of fear and suspicion. Strangers viewed each other through wary eyes, neighbors turned to strangers, and every shadow seemed to hold a secret. The once vibrant city had become a stage, the curtain drawn on a grim play of mystery and murder. In a city without harmony, the police chief was the conductor trying to keep the orchestra in tune. Gretzky was his name, a seasoned cop with a granite jaw and a heart that had seen better days. There was a stark tension, a raw fear that danced like St. Elmo's fire in his eyes. Whatever was happening in vaudeville had Gretzky out of his depth, and that was a sight I'd never thought I'd see. If anyone could make sense of this twisted tale, it would be him. I'd better head to the police station and have a chat with Gretzky for starters.
Let's do that. Welcome to Vaudeville, a game where AI is the star of the show. This is all we get for a menu. Ray tracing. I should turn that off because ray tracing does nothing for me. And I don't think I can turn it off, even if I want to. Oh. There we go. Now it's off. Yeah. All right, let's start. I enjoy the music. Old schooly. This is the city map. So what are we doing? Ooh. Okay.
So, Detective Martini, what brings you to the Body Valley? Are you here for business or pleasure?
I'm here for business.
Oh, really? What kind of business are you involved in?
Detective work.
Oh, a detective.
Yes.
How interesting. Are you working on a case right now?
I am.
Wow, that's exciting. May I ask what the investigation is about?
It's about a murder.
A murder? That's terrible. Do you mind sharing any details about the case?
Why?
I'm just curious, that's all. When I hear about something serious like that, I can't help but feel concerned.
A woman lost her life.
I'm sorry to hear that. That must have been devastating for her loved ones. Do you have any leads on who might have committed the crime?
I'm working on that right now.
That sounds like quite the challenge. What makes this particular case difficult to solve?
Not quite sure yet.
Equestria, that seems like an unusual clue. Can you tell me more about how it's related to the investigation?
It is not related.
Ah, okay, sorry, you mentioned Equestria and I thought there might be some connection. Can you give me any other details about the case?
Not sure.
If you're unsure, do you need help with anything? Maybe there's
Yes.
something you haven't considered yet.
Yep.
Sure, what could you use some assistance with? Perhaps brainstorming ideas for leads on the investigation.
Yes. Give me ideas. Give me ideas. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have you looked into the possibility of the killer being someone who was involved in the business project that Maria was a part of in India? It's possible that there were disagreements or tensions that could have led to someone wanting to harm her. That's a tough one. Maybe you could try looking into the victim's personal life and relationships. It's always a good idea to start with those closest to the victim and work your way out from there. Do you have any suspects or leads yet?
I'm working on that right now. I just started. How do you expect me to have this info?
Oh, you just started. That's interesting. What led you to choose this case to investigate? Sorry, it's understandable that you may not have much information yet. So, what can you tell me about the murder so far? Perhaps there's something we can brainstorm together.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm just a humble businessman, trying to make a buck or two. But if you really want to know, I'm the cat's meow, the bee's knees, the cream of the crop. I'm the one they call when they need a little bit of that Midas touch.
Oh. Okay.
You seem a tad lost, my friend. I'm not sure if you're looking for a piece of the pie or if you're here to chat about the weather. But if it's the former, you best bring your A game. The competition is fierce and the stakes are high.
I'm not even sure why I'm here to begin with.
Ah, that's a pity. Perhaps your subconscious led you to me, the guru of business, to seek enlightenment. Or maybe it's fate that brought us together. Either way, if it's a business opportunity you're after, don't be a wet blanket. State your case, and we'll see if we can't make some magic happen.
Well, that's a bit hard to do when you don't know much about the case.
It seems to me that your tongue is flapping in the breeze like a flag on a windy day. If it's information about the latest and greatest investments that piques your interest, I suggest you bring her a game. I don't have time to waste with small talk and idle chit-chat.
I don't have time to waste talking to you either. Let me talk to this woman again. So what
I
can you help
see
me with?
another female victim. That's concerning. Do you know her name and any other details about the crime scene? Maybe we can start there and see if there's any connection to the previous murders.
Okay. That was going nowhere. What else can we do? So we're at the manor here. I'm not sure what the significance of this place is, but let's see. How do you do?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. What brings you here today, Detective Martini?
Working on a case. Need your help.
Oh, I see. And how may I be of assistance to you, Detective?
Do you have info that I could use?
Well, that depends on what kind of information you're looking for, my dear detective. I have a vast collection of knowledge and curiosities from all over the world. Perhaps I can help you in some way.
What is this right next to us?
Yeah, you're referring to this peculiar object next to us. This is a
Yeah.
rare artifact from the ancient Mayan civilization. It's said to have mystical powers and bring good fortune to its owner. Quite fascinating, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm glad you find it intriguing. Is there anything else that catches your attention, Detective? Perhaps something else in my collection that might be of interest to you.
What is on the wall behind you?
Oh, that's a painting of my late great-grandfather. He was quite the adventurer, you know? Traveled all over the world and brought back some of the most fascinating objects you could imagine. Would you like to hear some stories about his travels?
Sure.
Excellent. Let me tell you about the time my great-grandfather traveled to the jungles of South America and encountered a tribe of indigenous people who were rumored to have the ability to communicate with animals. He spent months living among them, learning their ways and observing their rituals. It's said that he even witnessed one of their shamans transform into a jaguar. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it.
Is there something in particular that you're finding hard to believe, Detective Martini? I assure you, my family has a long history of extraordinary adventures and discoveries.
That the shaman turned into a tiger.
Yes, that's what the story goes. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? Of course,
Sure.
it's just a legend, but my great-grandfather always swore it was true. Do you have any questions about the story, Detective?
No, sir.
May I ask what brings you to my humble abode today, Detective Martini? Are you here to satisfy your curiosity about the world, or do you have some specific inquiries that you'd like to make?
I am investigating a murder, and I was wondering if you could help me out with that.
Of course, Detective. What kind of murder are we talking about? Perhaps there's something in my collection that could be of use in your investigation.
Is that possible? Do you have anything that may be of use?
Well, it's hard to say without knowing
I
more about the
seriously
case.
doubt that.
But I do have a vast knowledge of history and culture, and perhaps there's something in my archives that could be helpful. Can you tell me more about the case, Detective Martini?
I don't know much about the case either. How do they expect me to do this if I don't know everything? If they don't have clues that off to the side that I could reference to, there's nothing. Well, I don't have my notes with me, so I don't know how to go about this.
That's all right, Detective. Don't worry about your notes. Maybe you could describe the situation to me, and we can work together to see if there's anything that might be relevant to the investigation.
What have you heard about the situation?
I'm sorry, Detective Martini. I'm afraid I haven't heard much about the recent events in Vaudeville. As a nobleman, I tend to keep myself occupied with other matters. But please, feel free to enlighten me on the matter. I'm curious to know more about the case you're investigating.
I will enlighten you when I have enough information.
Forgive me for being forward, but is there something about the investigation that has you feeling uncertain? Detective, is there anything in my collection that could be helpful in easing your worries?
I'm not quite sure right now. Maybe later.
Certainly, Detective Martini. If you need me to help in any way, please don't hesitate to ask. As an avid collector and historian, perhaps there's something in my archives or experiences that could be useful to you.
Maybe later. Alright. Manor Dude did not help much. Let's about down here. So we're in the Blackwoods. Let's find out who this person is. Hello.
Wait, I think I lost my train of thought. What did you say?
Who are you?
I am known as Dada, the protector of the Blackwoods. I live in the forest and spend my days meditating and praying for the well-being of the creatures that call it home. How may I assist you?
Have you noticed any suspicious activities?
Suspicious activities, you say? Well, here in the depths of the woods, it's often difficult to discern what's normal and what's not. But recently, the animals have been restless and the trees have been whispering. Something about disturbances and danger lurking in the shadows. It gives me a sense of unease, but it's hard to pinpoint anything specific. Why do you ask, my dear?
Looking to solve an investigation.
Ah, an investigation. How intriguing. But my apologies. My mind can be a bit foggy at times, so forgive me if my information is not of much use to you. Nonetheless, if there is any way that I can aid in your mission to solve this mystery, please do not hesitate to let me know. Perhaps my connection with the forest and its inhabitants could be of some assistance to you.
Maybe it could. I will get back to you.
Of course, my dear. Please do not feel hesitant to come back and seek my help. Despite my challenges with communication, I am always happy to lend a listening ear and offer what knowledge and wisdom I can. Who knows, perhaps the creatures of the Blackwoods will have whispered something new to me by then. Until we meet again, take care and stay safe on your journey.
Okay, the woman of the Blackwoods, huh? Well, let's go over here. Dang, we're at the morgue now, huh? The coroner. Okay, let's see. Hello.
It's interesting how the body reacts to trauma. Even with all our medical knowledge, it can still be difficult to fully comprehend the extent of the damage caused.
Yes, it can. I could use your help.
It's always fascinating to see how humans can react to traumatic events in different ways. Some people can develop PTSD, while others seem to be more resilient. It's all about how the brain processes and copes with the experience, using the mechanisms of shock, adaptation, or dissociation. Of course, anything to assist in the investigation. From my observations, the victim sustained a severe injury to the occipital region of the skull, resulting in a fatal subdural hematoma. The force of the blow was significant, indicating that the perpetrator likely had a considerable amount of strength. It's a tragic situation, and my heart goes out to those affected by this loss.
Do you know the victim's name?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be insensitive. Based on my notes, the deceased's name was Nikola Grossman, a prominent figure in the finance world. It's always difficult to see someone who was once so full of life and vitality reduced to a mere shell. But that's the reality we face in this line of work.
Noticed anything unusual?
Well, there were some unusual markings on the victim's neck that could suggest possible defensive wounds. Additionally, the wound on the back of the neck was quite precise and could indicate a professional hit. However, without further investigation, we can't say for sure. My heart goes out to those who knew the victim. The loss of a loved one is never easy, and the grief can be overwhelming.
For sure. Is there anything that could help me in the investigation that you have found out?
Based on the evidence, it's difficult to determine the exact cause of death. It's clear that the injury was severe and likely caused by a sharp object, but beyond that, we can only speculate. It's important to consider all possibilities and gather as much information as we can to build a comprehensive picture of what happened. As a coroner, it's my job to remain objective and impartial, but as a human being, my sympathies lie with all who have been affected by this tragedy.
So her name was Nikola Grossman. Is there any more information you can provide?
It's always a challenge to piece together the events leading up to a person's untimely demise. From my observations, the victim sustained a significant amount of trauma to the head, resulting in a fatal subdural hematoma. Additionally, the wound on the back of the neck was quite precise and could indicate a professional hit. However, without further investigation, we can't say for sure. It's essential to keep an open mind and explore all possible avenues to get to the truth of the matter.
Thanks for your help.
I understand that this must be a challenging time for you. As a coroner, I've seen many cases like this, and I know how difficult they can be. The injury to the back of the skull that Nicola Grossman suffered was severe, and from my experience, could have been caused by a sharp object with considerable force. I hope that my findings can help bring some closure to those who have been affected by this tragedy.
Until next time.
Take care, and remember that grief is a natural response to loss. There is no easy way to deal with the passing of a loved one, but with support and understanding, the healing process can begin. In medical terms, the body has a remarkable capacity for self-repair and adaptation. And with the right care, we can overcome even the most significant obstacles.
Okay, that was the coroner. Okay, no to go back to that. So, stop here. Police station. Ah. Hello.
Well, what brings you here, Detective Martini? Do you have any new leads on the case?
Well, according to the coroner, our Nicola suffered a blow to the back of the skull. And it was a sharp object.
I see. And what exactly did Nicole suffer from? Interesting. And do we have any suspects or motives yet? That's quite concerning. Have we found anything that could give us a clue about the culprit? A sharp object, that could be a lot of things. Did the coroner find any traces of blood or other materials on the object that could lead to a potential suspect?
The coroner found out that the perpetrator may have a lot of strength.
That's quite an unusual piece of information. Do you think that means we might be dealing with someone who's physically strong? Or could it be something else?
It could be that. What else did she mention? Have you found out anything?
Well, we're still investigating, but so far we haven't found anything concrete. However, we suspect that the murders may be related to Monsieur Saxabar's secret project. What do you think about him and his shows, Detective Martini?
Saxabar?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by our? Could you please clarify?
No, that was a mistake. Monsieur Saxabar. Who is this?
Monsieur Saxabar is the owner of the most popular entertainment venue in Vaudeville. He is known for his extravagant shows and is quite influential in the city's social scene. Some people think he's up to something shady, but so far we haven't found any evidence to support those claims. What do you think about him, Detective?
I need to do some more digging on this guy.
Sure thing, Detective. Let me know if you find anything interesting. In the meantime, do you have any theories about who could be behind these murders?
No theories yet.
Have you considered the possibility of someone seeking revenge for something? Or perhaps it's an animal attack. These could be some possible angles to investigate.
It could be a number of things, but we're still trying to figure that out.
Detective, what kind of leads do we currently have in this case? Do we know if the victims had any connections with each other or with any potential suspects?
It is possible that there could be connection. But we need to figure out who the individual or individuals are.
Interesting. Can you please elaborate on what you mean by possible? Are there specific factors that led you to believe this, or is this just speculation at this point? That's an intriguing possibility. Do you think we should start looking into the victims' backgrounds to see if they had any connections with each other or with any potential suspects? It might be worth a shot. Absolutely, detective. And do you have a plan on how to identify the individual or individuals responsible for these murders? Perhaps we could set up a trap or conduct more thorough background checks on people who had access to the crime scenes. What do you think?
I think that could be a good idea.
So, what kind of trap? And how do you think we can make them look enticing enough to the killer or killers to take the bait?
1 second. Who are you? Constable Jones, how's it going?
Oh, just trying to keep my head above water. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and I'm just trying to make ends meet.
Do you have any leads?
Well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I've been doing some thinking, and I might have a theory or two. But, you know what they say, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I don't want to jump to any conclusions.
Okay, what is your theory?
I don't want to step on anyone's toes or rock the boat. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. But if you think my ideas could be of help, I'm happy to share them. Oh, well, like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And, the proof is in the pudding. But, like I said before, I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
This guy with his puns. Let me know what you think.
Okay, well, like they always say, the early bird catches the worm. And you can't judge a book by its cover. But, like I said before, my theories might not be worth a hill of beans. Sure, so, like they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And, all roads lead to Rome. But, like I said before, my ideas may not be the bee's knees.
Just tell me what you need to tell me.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not the best at expressing myself. But, like they always say, honesty is the best policy. And you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Out with it.
I was thinking that maybe the murders could be connected to the recent influx of outsiders coming into Vaudeville. You see, Vaudeville is a very tight-knit community, and we don't take kindly to strangers. Maybe one of these outsiders had a grudge against the victims or something. But, like I said, it's only a theory.
It's a solid theory.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. But, a broken clock is right twice a day, and even a blind squirrel finds a net sometimes. I just hope I'm not barking up the wrong tree.
This guy's speaking in sayings and stuff. He has a quote for everything. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like they say, it's always darkest before the dawn. But I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my thoughts. It can be hard for me to speak up, but I want to help in any way I can. I might not be the brightest bulb in the box, but I care about finding justice for the victims.
Chief Gretzky, who were all of the victims?
Well, let me see. We've had 3 victims so far. Maria Jansen, a young woman found outside her apartment in central Vaudeville. Nicola Grossman, a finance man found outside Pascal's groceries shop. And Haley Greenwood, a dancer whose body was found in an alley behind the club she worked at. Do you think there could be a connection between them, Detective Martini?
It could be possible.
That's an intriguing idea, Detective. What makes you think that there might be a link? Are there any specific details that you've uncovered that could support this theory?
Haven't uncovered any details yet, but we are working on it. I'm working on it.
Okay, I see. It sounds like you're still gathering information. Keep up the good work, Detective. Do you need anything from me to help move this investigation forward?
Are there any questions I should be asking anyone?
Detective Martini, have you had a chance to speak with anyone who knew the victims? perhaps their friends or family members might be able to provide some valuable insights into their lives and potential motives for their murders. It might be worth reaching out to them if you hadn't already.
Okay, thanks for the tip.
Have you found anything new in your investigation, Detective? Any leads or suspects? I'm curious to hear your progress.
Working on that right now. I will get back to you.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing what you find, Martini. Keep me updated on any developments in the case. Do you need any additional resources or support for me to help move the investigation forward?
Yeah, we're gonna stop talking to them for now. But that's the police station. So where are the victims' families and such at? Hello.
Yeah, greetings.
Monsieur Saxabar.
Yes.
Has there been anything strange lately?
No.
I don't believe you.
That is your prerogative.
What are you doing?
I'm busy preparing for tonight's show.
When is the show?
Tonight,
What time?
3:52 p.m.
Who's working it?
My employees are working the show.
Well, someone thinks you may have something to do with an investigation that's ongoing right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Nonsense.
Not sure if it's nonsense.
It is nonsense.
Is there anyone else here to talk?
No.
Will you help me with this investigation?
No.
Why not?
Because I have nothing to do with the investigation.
We wouldn't know that.
Good for you.
Well, I'll be back.
Fine.
This guy's been short. He has there's some left with this.
Just remember, Detective, I have a busy schedule and I am not here to entertain you. If there's anything else you need to know, ask quickly and make sure you do not waste any more of my time.
It looks like you're already wasting your own time.
I have better things to do than talk to you.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Believe what you will.
I will.
Sure.
This guy's a jerk. Get out of my face.
What about him? No.
Oh, this guy. Hey, Coral.
Oh, you're such an interesting person, Haley. I love meeting new people and learning about their stories. It's so refreshing to hear your perspective on things. I feel like we could be great friends.
Who are you talking to? It is not me.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just getting carried away with my excitement. I tend to be a bit histrionic sometimes, but I promise I'm a good listener too. So, what brings you to Vaudeville, Detective Martini?
Working on an investigation. 3 murders.
Wow, that sounds intense. I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to investigate something like that. But I'm sure you're doing a great job. If you ever need someone to talk to or shoulder to lean on, I'm here for you. It's important to have a support system, especially during tough times like these.
What is this place?
This place is Coral, one of my favorite bars in downtown Vaudeville. It's entirely decorated with undersea material, and it's so beautiful and unique. I love coming here to unwind after a long day of dance rehearsals. Do you like it?
Sure.
That's great to hear. You know, Detective Martini, there's something about you that makes me feel so comfortable. I don't know what it is, maybe your calming presence or your deep sense of empathy? Whatever it is, I'm really glad we met.
Did you know any of the victims?
No, I didn't personally know any of the victims, but I heard about the murders on the news. It's so tragic and heartbreaking. I can't even imagine what their families and loved ones are going through right now. It's a scary time to live in Vaudeville, but I'm confident that you and your team will find the killer and bring them to justice.
Is there any way you can help me?
Of course, Detective Martini. I would love to help in whatever way I can. What do you need from me?
Did any of the victims frequent this bar? Did any of the victims visit this bar?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question. Could you please clarify what you mean by any of the victims? To be honest, Detective Martini, I'm not entirely sure. As a newcomer to Vaudeville, I haven't had much time to explore all the bars and restaurants in town. But if you want, we could ask the bartender here at Coral. They might know something. What do you think? Detective, to the best of my knowledge, none of the victims visited this bar. But if you want, we could still talk to the staff and see if they remember anything unusual or suspicious happening around the times when the murders took place. Maybe they overheard something or saw someone acting strange. It's worth a shot, don't you think?
Sure, let's do that.
You know, you're really easy to be with, and I'm enjoying our conversation. It's not often that I meet people who are as kind and empathetic as you are.
You barely know me.
It's refreshing, and it's making me really happy to be here with you.
Thanks for your help.
No problem, Haley. I'm always willing to help out a friend in need. And honestly, talking to you is giving me so much energy and inspiration. It's like I'm seeing the world through new eyes. Thank you for being such a great listener and for taking the time to hear me out. It means a lot to me.
I am not Haley.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that your presence is so captivating and engaging that it's hard not to get caught up in the moment. But regardless of your name, it's been a pleasure speaking with you and sharing our thoughts. So, what do you say we get back to investigating and see if we can find any leads on these murders?
Okay. Hello.
Well, who do we have here? You seem to be new around here.
I'm here investigating a crime.
Oh, really? What kind of crime are you investigating?
A series of murders.
Murders? How interesting. And what does that have to do with me?
I want to know if you know any of the victims.
Victims? No, not at all. Why would you think that?
Well, Vaudeville is a small town.
Bad Bill, I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with that place. Is it near
Vaudeville.
Vaudeville?
Vaudeville is a small town.
Small town. I wouldn't call it that. It's a bustling city with a rich cultural scene. But tell me more about these murders. Do you have any leads?
No leads.
That's a shame. I hope you find the killer soon. Say, have you ever been to one of my shows? I'm performing tonight at the Cabane Violet. It's going to be quite a spectacle.
I have not.
You haven't? Well, you're missing out. My performances are known for their seductiveness and humor. What kind of art do you enjoy, detective?
Photography.
Yeah, interesting. Do you like taking pictures of people or landscapes?
People.
How intriguing. What do you like to capture in your photographs? The mood, the expression, the posture.
Candidness.
Oh, I see. Capturing moments of authenticity can be quite challenging, but rewarding. Have you ever tried photographing performers backstage? It's a fascinating world behind the curtains.
I have not, but I bet it is.
It certainly is. You should come to one of our shows and take some pictures. Who knows, maybe my performance will inspire a masterpiece.
I would if I could.
Why can't you come to the show? Is something holding you back?
Investigation.
I understand. Well, I wish you the best of luck with your investigations. If there's anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to ask. So, tell me more about your job, detective. What's the most interesting case you've worked on?
Can't tell you that right now. Alright, this is where we're going to stop it for now. It's been interesting. Take on using AI to be a detective, solve a crime, solve a case. Interesting use of it. It can be a little challenging when you don't know the background of the people. But we'll see. We're here at Pascal's Groceries, but we won't talk to these folks until next time. So that has been Vaudeville. I'll catch you with the next one in the future.